reporting portal training. My name is Acklin Rhodes, and I serve as the Business Management Specialist in the Small Business GWAC Program Support Division, Federal Acquisition Service Information Technology category. I'm also the Polaris Hub Zone Program Manager, and I will be your host for today's session. Today, Utunde and Anjanette from our IT Services Business and Operations Division will be providing an overview of our FAS SRP web-based application used to report and track transactional data, as well as fee payments for GSA contract vehicles. Before I hand it off to Utunde to walk through today's agenda, I'd like to go over some quick housekeeping items. A few of those items are this presentation is being recorded. If you object to the recording, please disconnect and a copy of the recording will be sent to you. To help minimize background noise, all attendees have been muted. The chat function has been disabled. If you have any questions during this session, please feel free to use the Q&A pod within Zoom. At the conclusion of today's presentation, we'll compile the submitted questions and send a summary with responses. Finally, a copy of the slide deck will be provided to all attendees after today's session. Now I will turn it over to Utunde.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today at the Polaris Sales Reporting Portal training. Once again, congratulations on your Polaris contract award. The Sales Reporting Portal is also known as SRP, which will be the short form we will use as a reference throughout this training. As Acklin mentioned, my name is Yetunde Ogunribido, and with me is Anjanette Alvarado. We are your program analysts on the Polaris SRP support team, which means that we serve as your point of contact for SRP reporting on Polaris contracts. You can always reach out to us via report@gsa.gov for your reporting questions. The goal of this session is to show you how to utilize SRP for reporting on your Polaris contract. We will go over what SRP is, how to enter task orders and add new task orders and mods, where to review task orders and mods, how to report invoice and sales, adjusting reporting data and uploading invoice and sales data, how to make CAF payments, and then we would wrap up with some best practices. So what are the requirements on your Polaris contract? Here is an excerpt from section F.6 in the Polaris contract that outlines clear guidance on reporting requirements. This chart shows what items need to be reported, when they're due, and where deliverables should be reported. Looking at the chart to the right, you would see the listed items under section 13.2. These items are expected to be reported to GDRS, which is the government designated reporting system. For your Polaris contract, the GDRS would be SRP. As we see here, task order award and modification data are due the month following the contract's official signing by the ordering contracting officer. Invoice reports are due monthly by the 30th calendar day after the month invoice was paid by the client. In cases where there is no contract activity in the reporting month, you are required to submit confirmation of no reportable transactional data, which we refer to as a no invoice report. In SRP, CAF payments have a quarterly requirement, which means that CAF must be paid and reported within 30 days after the end of each reporting quarter. It's important that you familiarize yourself with this section of your contract to ensure compliance with your reporting requirements. So what is SRP? The Sales Reporting Portal is the designated platform for all contract reporting documentation. SRP is a web-based application that collects sales data, and it is where task orders, modifications, invoices will be reported, and where CAF would be paid. SRP is used to report on new task orders, monthly invoices. It is used for attaching contract awards and modifications to task orders, and also to remit quarterly contract access fees on your contract. In order to gain access to SRP, you be a registered user. To register, navigate to the FAS SRP portal page at srp.fas.gsa.gov, which has been hyperlinked in this slide. All first-time users must register for a FAS ID multi-factor authentication account. To begin that process, click on the register button highlighted in blue to the right, in the chart to the right, and you'll be redirected to the form where you will enter the required information, then click submit. The system will verify the information against your Polaris contract. Please ensure that the email address used to register is listed correctly in at least one of the following points of contact fields on your GSA contract, either as an authorized negotiator, a fee POC, or a contract administrator. Once you submit the registration form, it will return one of three responses: a successful registration message, a failed registration message due to an already existing account, or a failed registration message due to an invalid email address. If your email address was successfully verified against your contract, you can proceed with the next steps to activate your account. However, if you received a message notifying you of an existing account, you should leave the registration page and try logging into your SRP account. On the other hand, if you were notified that your email is not on the Polaris contract, your display screen will show you how to rectify the issue. For POC changes, log into Fed Connect and request an additional authorized negotiator. The Polaris CEO will make the update to CALM, and you can expect up to 5 business days to see the change reflected in SRP. This chart shows the contractor homepage in SRP. A key element on this page is the menu bar on the left. Here you will find buttons to the homepage, reporting, payments, task order management sections. The white arrow at the top can be used to reduce or expand the menu bar. The search button can be used to find data related to contract and task orders, and the help button can be used to access GSA online help. The home page will populate a list of contracts where the user is listed as a valid POC. SRP supports various contract vehicles, so it's possible that a user could have monthly and quarterly contracts on the page. Please double check the contract and task order number being reported on to ensure that reportings are done on the right contract so that we can prevent reporting errors. Another important element on this page are the 3 dates at the center of the page. We have the current payment due date that shows when the next CAF payment is due. Since payments are due quarterly and the end of the second quarter of the year is in June, July 30th would be the CAF due date for the second quarter. The current due date for monthly reporting reflects the current sales and invoice reporting period for monthly contracts. In this case, July 30th would be the due date for the June reporting period. The third date reflects the invoice reporting due date for quarterly contracts. Since your Polaris contract has a monthly reporting requirement, the first 2 dates are the most important dates to keep in mind. The total outstanding balance is another element to pay attention to here. It reflects whether or not CAF is owed and the amount owed. The number highlighted in blue shows that you're in good standing, while the numbers in red shows that there's a delinquency. Now let's look at how contracts are entered into SRP. There are 2 ways to get task orders into SRP. One way is automatically through FPDS and Assist, while the other is manually through a form entry in SRP. We recommend waiting for your orders to come into the system automatically. This will save you the trouble of manually entering data into SRP. It also helps to maintain data integrity. When task orders are sourced from FPDS or Assist, the fields in the table marked with an X under the FPDS column are items that could pre-populate into SRP. Depending on how the data was entered into FPDS, It would determine the kind of data that will come into SRP. Note that FPDS task orders will populate with some required fields missing. Contractors have the ability to fill in the missing required fields before submitting the task order for validation. Domain claim, predominant, contract type, OCO details, location, place of performance will always have to be provided by the contractor in order to submit the task order. Field names like work type is not required for Polaris task orders and will pre-populate with NA. Similar to FPDS, task orders can automatically populate from Assist. Task orders from Assist will populate with some required fields missing, and you'll be able to enter missing data before submitting the task order. Domain claim, domain, and location will always have to be provided by the contractor in order to submit this task order. When reviewing data that is automatically pushed into SRP from FPDS or Assist, you would find unlocked and locked fields on the review page. You can readily make edits to unlocked fields. However, to update records in locked fields, you would need to select the Request Changes to Locked Fields checkbox at the top of the page to edit the data. When this option is selected, the locked fields become unlocked, allowing new data to be entered. The only time you would need to unlock the locked fields would be if you find that the data that came into the system was inaccurate. Once updates have been made, the task order status will change to non-match review and require the program office to validate the requested changes. If the changes are accepted, the task order will update to non-match accepted. If the changes are rejected, the task order will update to non-match rejected. You will receive an email notification with comments from the program office and would need to resubmit the task order once the corrections have been made. Let's now take a look at how new task orders are manually entered into SRP. To add a new task order, you would navigate to the home page, go to the menu bar, and select Task Order Management. From the menu options, you select Add New Task Order, and then you'll be required to provide a contract number to proceed. Once the contract number is selected, the banner at the top will display your contract details, such as company name, UEI, DONS, contract vehicle, and pools. These details will be pre-populated by SRP. Other required fields would need to be entered manually. You can reference your award documents for contract details. Here is a screenshot of the SF-1449 form. This is your contract award document and should have the most accurate information regarding your contract. Ensure that details entered into the new task order form matches your contract award document. After providing the required task order details, task order award document on the page. To do that, you click on the Browse button, select the appropriate contract document from your computer, and enter it on the page. The Upload button will remain inactive until a document is attached. Once the selected document is attached, it will populate in the box and the Upload button gets activated. To delete an incorrect file, click on the X button to the right side of the file. There is also an optional file description text box to describe the attached file. When this is ready, click on the Upload button to attach the document. After a successful upload, you will receive this pop-up notification. Select the OK button to close the pop-up. After the attachment has been uploaded to the task order, it will reflect within the attachments table. At any point, attachments can be removed from the table using the delete icon to the right of the file. Once all required fields and attachments have been provided, select the Submit button to complete your task order submission. Let's now take a look at how new mods are manually entered into SRP. Similar to adding a new task order, to add a new mod, you would navigate to the home page, go to the menu bar, and select Task Order Management. From the options, you select Add New Modification, and you'll be required to provide a contract number. You would also need to select the appropriate task order to proceed. Once the task order number is selected, the banner at the top will display your contract details. The details in the left column would automatically be populated from your base task order. Other required fields such as mod number, mod type, mod award date would need to be entered manually to submit the modification. You can reference your mod documents for these details. After providing the required task order and modification details, you will need to attach your modification document on the page. To do that, click on the Browse button, select the appropriate mod document from your computer, and enter it on the page. Once the selected document is attached, it will populate in the box, and the Upload button gets activated. When this is ready, click on the Upload button to attach the document. After the attachment has been uploaded to the modification, it will reflect within the attachments table. Remember that at any point, attachments can be removed from the table using the delete icon to the right of the file. Once all required fields and attachments have been provided, select the Submit button to complete the submission of your modification. Now we'll talk about how to review task order and modifications in SRP. The Review Task Order or Mods page is where you can see all your task orders at the time. It is where you can review and manage task order actions. To begin this process, navigate to the main menu on the home page, select the task order management, and then select Review Task Order and Mods. You will see a list of all task orders on your contract with details such as status dates, contract number, task order status, and action. The task order status shows the current state of a task order. New task order entries from FPDS or Assist would be in a new task order status, and an order that has met all required criteria would be in a non-mass accepted status. The action column shows actions that can be performed on each task order. An action to view order allows you to view the details of a task order, while an action to manage task order allows you to make updates to a task order. There are about 6 different task order statuses that can reflect on your task order. The new task order status is displayed when orders automatically enter SRP through FPDS or Assist. When this occurs, SRP would require you to manually enter additional data for the task order to be accepted into the system. Need to be accepted into SRP before invoice or sales can be reported under that task order. When a new task order comes in from FPDS or Assist, contractors are required to make updates as needed and submit to the program office for review. After the submission, this task order status will update the non-match review status. The non-match review status is displayed when the program office is reviewing changes submitted by the contractor after the automatic data entry from FPDS or Assist. A task order in this status requires no action from the contractor, pending a response from the program team. Task order in the non-mass accepted status contains all required data and has been approved for invoice and sales reporting in SRP. Task orders automatically received from FPDS or Assist and do not have changes to locked data fields will update to a non-mass accepted status once required fields are complete and submitted. Also, new task orders that were manually entered into SRP will automatically update to a non-mass accepted status. A task order is in a non-mass rejected status when changes have been reviewed by the program office and rejected based on inaccurate data. When this happens, you will receive an email stating the reason for the rejection, and you're expected to update the information and resubmit to the program office for approval. The review task order status is displayed after the program office rejects a task order record. The contractor is required to review data and submit to the program office for validation. The task order is in the accepted to review status when an existing task order receives data push from FPDS or Assist with data discrepancies that require review by the program office. In these states, the program office is performing a comparison between an existing task order in SRP and an identical task order record from FPDS. This review status is unique to when FPDS or assist data is received after a task order has been manually entered into the system. Here is a visual chart showing the task order statuses from when they are received in SRP to when the task orders can be reported upon. A task order needs to be in a non-mass accepted status before you can report invoicing sales, mods, and other transactional data. There are two slightly different statuses depending on when FPDS or assist data is pushed into SRP. If data is pushed into SRP with no prior manual form entry of the task order, the first status would be new task order, letting you know a new task order is in the system and requires your action. And after your updates, the status will change to non-match review, notifying you that the program office is reviewing the order. If FPDS or assist data is pushed into SRP after an identical task order already exists in the system, the status before the data push would be non-mass accepted. This is because your task order will be ready to be reported upon when you enter your task order manually. However, when FPDS data push occurs at a later time, the status of your task order will change to an accepted to review status. This status lets you know that task order data is being reviewed by the program office. Afterwards, the task order could return to a non-mass accepted or non-mass rejected status, depending on whether existing task order details matches FPDS or assist data. In general, when a new task order is inserted into the system, you will review the data and submit to the program office. We will review the information submitted and either accept or reject the task order. When the task order is accepted, you can begin to report on your task order. And if it is rejected, you would need to make updates until your task order is accepted. I will now hand this over to Anjanette to show us how to report invoicing sales and make CAF payments in SRP.
Thank you, Yetunde. All right, let's dive into how to report invoices, which we also refer to as sales. To report invoices in SRP, go to the reporting menu on the left-hand side and select Form Entry. Select your contract number in the drop-down menu. You will only see contracts that you have access to, where you are listed as a valid point of contact. When you select your contract number, the screen pre-populates in the top table with summary level contract information such as your company name, SAM UEI, DUNS, and contract vehicle. Your contract number will also display along with the reporting period, reporting frequency, reporting date, and contract reporting status. This is where you can manually add your invoices. Enter a unique invoice number, paid date, and then select the task on in the drop-down menu. If the order is not there, check the task order status. Orders have to be loaded in correctly before you can report on them. Remember, the requirement for reporting invoices is monthly. After providing an invoice number, paid date, task order, and selecting Add Invoice, the form entry page will load the data entry table with banner level information for the task order as displayed in the screenshot. All the fields in red are required fields. You can't see them all here, but the fields are line ID, SIN CLIN, CLIN description, it's a pick from a drop-down list, description of deliverable, which is an open field, unit measure, quantity of items sold, unit price, total price, line item location, purchase line fee, category, security clearance level, applicable labor law. If you make a mistake entering an invoice, you can delete it using the Delete Invoice button on the right-hand side of the page. If you are reporting invoices for a single task order, you will enter all the transactional data and the CAF and hit submit. If you are not ready to submit, you can also select Save Only and come back to it later. The invoice banner will populate with dollar amounts, total sales per order, as well as SRP CAF and CAF CLIN. If you have more orders to report, SRP will display a pop-up notification letting you know you have not reported on your other orders. You can report multiple invoices on the same screen. Like in the previous slide, you will enter the invoice number, paid date, and select the task order in the drop-down, and then click Add Invoice. You will have multiple invoice tables displayed where you can enter your data. This page also has the Delete Invoice option if you need to delete an entry. If you have an order and there is no paid invoice to report, you'll need to report a zero invoice. The process is the same, but we ask that you follow a standardized invoice number format for these. It would be zero invoice plus the month plus the year as the invoice number. And then you enter the paid date and select your task order in the drop-down menu. There should be two CLINs on the zero invoice. It's the zero invoice CLIN and the CAF. You enter the $0, click Submit, and click the checkbox that asks if your submission is complete and accurate. Also note, since reporting is at the task order level, if you have no orders yet, there is nothing to report in SRP. When you are in this view of entering invoices, which is the reporting and then the form entry on the menu, there's a hyperlink. It's kind of in the middle of the page. It says View Status of All Task Orders. This is a quick way to view orders reported, what's been paid and what's past due. If you click on this link, you will be taken to the search page. Your contract number will be defaulted, and you can select different parameters. In this example here, we see in the contract reporting status field drop-down menu, the status of submitted is selected, along with the reporting period ending date of June 2025. The result in the screenshot is one invoice. Now I will go over how to make changes to an invoice. You can adjust invoice data at any time. Go to the reporting menu on the left-hand side and select Adjust Data. You'll select your contract number, reporting period, and task order. The page will populate with invoice data tables for the data already submitted for that reporting period. Make your adjustments in the table. Any adjustments made will override existing invoices. You can add additional invoices if needed and delete if needed. Note that when you submit an adjusted invoice, the status will be resubmitted. There will be 3 questions to answer before submitting the adjustment. 1, how was the sales reporting error discovered? This is a drop-down menu. 2, what is the reason for the sales adjustment and how did the error occur? And 3, what action is your firm taking to prevent the reporting error from reoccurring? And after answering the questions, click on Submit. Okay, now I will go over how to upload an invoice. Use the spreadsheet template provided if you choose to upload your invoices. To get a copy of the file, go to the reporting menu and select Download Template. Do not change the file. Don't delete columns, don't change headers, don't delete tabs. Only enter invoice data in the cells and use the GWAC MAC data tab in the file. To upload your invoices, under the reporting menu on the left-hand side, select File Upload, and then you select the reporting period in the drop-down menu. Here's a closer look. Select the reporting period and then click Browse. You will be prompted with a pop-up, find and select your file. If you select the wrong one, click the X to remove it. After selecting your file, click the Upload button. You'll get a pop-up notification. You must check the box to acknowledge it and click Submit. After you submit, you will see the Upload History page, which displays the history of submissions and a column that shows the statuses of each, which can be in process, submitted, or rejected. The in-process status means the system is conducting validations for submission per contract and task order. A submitted status means the file was submitted and all data in the file was uploaded to their assigned contract and task order. Rejected means data in the file was rejected and will need to be corrected and then uploaded again. If your upload is rejected, you will see this page. The system will give you the reason the upload was rejected. In this case, you would make the corrections to the file and try again. To adjust a file that was uploaded, go to Reporting on the left-hand side menu and select Adjust Data by File Upload. The drop-downs you will fill in are contract number and the reporting period. After you do this, you'll be able to browse and upload your file as shown in the bottom screenshot. You will answer the 3 required questions necessary to save the adjusted file upload and submit. 1, how was the sales reporting error discovered? 2, what is the reason for the sales adjustment and how did the error occur? And 3, what action is your firm taking to prevent the reporting error from recurring? Now on to CAF payments. There are 2 ways to make a CAF payment in SRP. Go to Payment on the left-hand side menu and select Make Payments, select your contract number, or on the SRP homepage, click on the Total Outstanding Balance dollar amount hyperlink. A new page will be displayed with a table of CAF payments that are past due. You have to select between 3 fields when making a CAF payment. SRP CAF is the amount of CAF calculated in the system based on the invoice you entered. CAF CLIN is the amount of CAF on your invoice. Other is a custom amount, which will require a comment if you choose this. CAF payments are due quarterly per the Polaris contract, so you will be reporting invoices monthly, but paying the CAF quarterly. You can pay the CAF monthly as well if you choose to. The system will allow it. When you select your contract number, your list of orders where CAF is due will appear in the table. You will select which orders you want to pay the CAF on and select SRP CAF, CAF CLIN, or other, and enter the CAF payment amount. The system will calculate the amount due under Total CAF Amount up above. Click on Pay Now. This page displays a summary of the orders and payments you are making. There is a checkbox on the bottom left that you need to select, acknowledging you will be redirected to pay.gov to make the payment. Select this and then hit Submit. Please note, do not go straight to pay.gov website. You must follow this process within SRP to be directed to pay.gov to make the payment. Any payments made outside of SRP can get lost or will get lost. You will now make the payment. The screenshot shows the start of the payment process. Select your payment method. There are 3 options: bank account, ACH, PayPal account, or debit or credit card. On this screen, you will enter your information to make the payment: account holder name, account type, routing number, account number, and then confirm account number. Hit continue, and you can cancel if needed. There is a cancel button at this point. After clicking on continue, you'll see a summary of what you entered. Review the authorization and disclosure statement, select the checkbox, and click continue. So your payment has been made. You will be redirected back to SRP with a summary of the payment made along with the tracking IDs, amounts, and statuses. If you go to the SRP homepage, it will show that a CAF payment has been made. The total outstanding balance amount will update. to zero if you paid all the CAF that is owed. Another way to see a payment has been made is to click on the contract number hyperlink on the home page. It's about mid-page on the left-hand side under the filter banner. To view all submitted payment records, go to the payment menu on the left-hand side and select View Payments. Select your contract number in the drop-down menu. You'll see a table displayed with all your orders and the reporting periods with CAF information and statuses of your payments. The statuses can be paid, pending, unpaid, past due, and failed. This concludes our SRP overview. Here are some best practices to note. For civilian orders, instead of attempting to enter task orders in SRP, we suggest waiting until the task order award and/or modification has been imported from FPDS, typically 3 days. Defense agency orders will not import from FPDS into SRP. Please enter information exactly as it appears on your task order award and modification documents. Verify task order accuracy before submitting to minimize inquiries from our team. This will avoid a lot of back and forth within the system. Have task order award documents available and ready for uploading into SRP. Ensure that your customer has been issued a Polaris Delegation of Procurement Authority. Use the Submit Payment button in the Make Payments page to ensure that CAF is applied to the proper contract and task orders. Again, do not go directly to the pay.gov website to try and make a payment. Ensure that multiple people in your organization are familiar with the SRP system. Make sure that reporting inquiries at gsa.gov does not go to spam or junk folders. And respond to Polaris team inquiries within 48 business hours. Thank you for your time. Now I will pass it back to Yetunde.
Thanks, Anjanette. There are a variety of ways to get support as you navigate SRP for your Polaris contract. You can reach out to us for your transactional data reporting questions via email at reportinginquiries@gsa.gov. For technical assistance with login issues and other tech support, email our vendor support team at vendor.support@gsa.gov. The Polaris website is your go-to page for more information about the Polaris contract. You can access it via gsa.gov/Polaris. The SRP user manual is another valuable resource with detailed information on how to effectively utilize SRP for reporting on your contract. You can access this page via the hyperlinked SRP user manual on this slide or via the SRP portal. To access this page via SRP, navigate to the upper right-hand corner of the SRP portal, select the drop-down arrow next to Help, then choose the GSA Online Help option. This would direct you to the SRP user manual. We have now come to the end of this presentation. Thank you for attending the FAS SRP training session today. We hope this session has been helpful to you. Please type in your questions in the Q&A box and we will get back to you with responses. I will now pass this back to Kathleen.
Again, as Yetunde said, thank you for attending today's session. If you have not input your questions in the Q&A pod, please do. We will be sending out a summary of the submitted questions in the Q&A pod along with corresponding responses, and a copy of today's presentation will be sent to you. Remember, the team can be reached at reportinginquiries@gsa.gov if you think of any further questions. Have a great day and thank you for attending again.